Hi guys, and welcome to a quick channel update from myself, Slim Nasty. I thought I'd bring you up to speed as to where I've been and where we're going. Yes, and where I am now, which is in my lounge, obviously. Right, as most of you will know, Western Digital kindly sent me a 512 gig M.2 SSD a while back. And in my ignorance, I thought, you just buy an adapter card, slap it in the PC, and you get extra storage. And it's really fast because it's on PCI Express. I couldn't be more wrong. From then, we ended up finding that these aren't just compatible with everything. And after some bad advice, I have to say. Well, not bad advice. Advice from Gigabyte, I updated the BIOS on my motherboard, and then everything went wrong, as you all know, and I ended up with the problem of going backwards and forwards with Gigabyte for what was 22 days and getting nowhere, and then ended up in the middle of like an argument as to, well, like, it's not our responsibility, you have to speak to Amazon, and it's like, well, hang on, you've already told me it's not Amazon's responsibility. But luckily, Amazon stepped up to the mark and sorted it out. Now, I have to say, right, I'm going to do a separate video on, Gigabyte and all the problems that I had over those 22 days. I'm going to do that separately. But I have to say, after the 22 days of dealing with Gigabyte and going over and over the same ground again and again, having Amazon step in and take only 3 days from when they said, okay, we'll help you out here, mate, to then putting the money in my bank account was a godsend. A big shout out to Amazon for that, because that is how customer service should work. If you can't fix something, it needs to be like, you need to either replace it or give someone their money back. It's as simple as that. And Amazon obviously know this, and they sorted it out, even though it wasn't their responsibility, and even though Gigabyte had told me it wasn't their responsibility. But anyway, we're going to gloss all over that, because then came the next problem. What do I do next? Because obviously the PC's down, it's already been 22 days, and I haven't got a motherboard now, because Amazon kindly refunded me the money for it. So you think you just go out and buy another motherboard, but I ended up in the issue whereby you can't really get 1150 socket motherboards anymore, which is the socket for my 4790K. So I had to decide, do I try and find a new board, which I looked for, and you couldn't find an 1150 socket board that was a reasonably priced. They were silly money. For instance, right, my board was 120 quid to go and buy. That's what I got refunded, roughly, give or take a few quid. To buy a new one, the only place I could find one, 550 quid for the same board. And I wasn't going to go there. I really was not going to go there. So you're then into the issue of, do you go out and buy a second-hand board? Do I go out and buy another 1150 socket board? And I looked, to be fair, I looked a lot. And I was tempted, and I even bidded on a couple. But again, they go for silly money, because you can't get 1150 boards, and if you can find an 1150 board new anywhere, they're just ridiculously expensive. Then it puts the prices up of the second-hand market, and they were going for over 100 quid, which you can go and buy a Z370 board for. And I'm then thinking, well, hang on, I could go and buy a new board. I could just go and buy, okay, my processor and RAM's not going to fit, but I could effectively buy a brand new board. And to me, buying a second-hand board that may or may not work, you don't know, that's the gamble you take, is daft to me. It's just, it didn't make sense of me going and spending all that money, and I could end up with another board that doesn't work and no way to get my money back. And that means I would have been out of pocket by whatever it cost me, 100 quid plus, which meant that if I did then have to decide to go brand new, I couldn't afford to. I just wouldn't have had the money. So anyway, that's what drove me to the decision of buying new. So obviously it's not easy because I can't go out and buy a new 1150 board, not at a reasonable price anyway, and I didn't have the money to buy it at silly prices, and I wasn't going to spend that money. I had to sell my CPU and RAM, so it went up a week ago on eBay, my 4790K and my Kingston HyperX Beast memory that runs at 2400 MHz, both sold within the week at reasonable prices. I got what I wanted for them, roughly. I swings and roundabouts. Some people, like some of the things I was watching, went for more than what I sold mine for. Some went for less. So I think I've got a good price for it. So that's given me the funds to replace the CPU, the RAM, and the motherboard. Now, I can confirm, as of yesterday, I am now the proud owner of an i7 7800X. And I'm going to do a separate video, guys, on why I picked these particular components. And I'll go through in a little bit of depth on that video. That's not what this one's about. This is where I am now and where we're going. That's what this video is about. So, I've got the processor. I have got 16 gig of DDR4 RAM. Now, I've had to go for 16 gig as opposed to 32 gig because of the price of memory at the moment. It is ludicrous. It is a ludicrous price. This basically has cost me twice as much as what I paid for 16 gig a year ago. It's just like it's the same as graphics cards. Graphics cards, everybody knows, are expensive. Everybody blames it on Bitcoin mining, which is kind of true and kind of not. I mean, part of the reason why graphics cards are expensive, guys, is because of memory prices. Memory prices. I mean, this is double the price of what it was a year ago. And what the graphics card have? Memory. It puts the cost up. It's one of those things. So it's not just like everybody stop blaming Bitcoin mining. I know it's part of the problem, but it's not all of the problem. So anyway, last but no, not last actually, nearly last, I have a board, and it's not a gigabyte one. I've gone back to MSI. I had the previous two builds were MSI and I never had any problems, so I've gone back to what I know. I've gone away from Gigabyte and I've gone back to MSI. And again, I will do a separate video on why I chose all these parts. I'm also going to do a separate video on the unboxing of this, so it's still in its box. Yes, it's still in there. It's not come out. It's all sealed. It's lovely. So I will do a separate video on that. And again, like the board has come from Novatech. The other parts have come from Amazon. I have to thank these guys because I put the order in late Friday and they had it dispatched within the hour and sent out to me for on the next day. So shout out to Novatech there, who I used to work for. Like I won't, I bear no secrets. I love those guys over there. They are really efficient at getting stuff out the door. So new motherboard, new processor, new RAM. That's all I needed, right? Not quite, because I do have expansion plans for the future, and I needed to buy some cables. Yeah, you thought it was going to be something major, didn't you? No, just some plain old simple SATA cables. So I bought 6. I've got 2 already left over from the previous build because I had to send everything back with a Gigabyte board. So I was using the 4 that I had to send back, and the MSI board only comes with 2, so I would have only ended up with 4. So now I've got like 10 SATA cables. I won't need that many, but it's enough. So that's where I am. I've got the parts on my desk. Like, that is pretty cool, right? Yeah. I'm going to record after this the unboxing video. I'm going to record a video on why I chose these particular parts as opposed to AMD or different chipsets or different processors. All of that I'm going to cover in a separate video, and just give you an overview. I think that's separate because I just want this video to be like where we are and where we're going. So where we're going is I'm going to record those videos today, and I'm going to also hopefully build a new PC today. Like once I get all those videos out the way, I'm going to literally go straight into building the PC and hopefully get it up and running tonight. Yes, tonight, which is Sunday night. Might not finish it. I might have to finish it tomorrow. Hopefully I'll finish it tonight. I should have enough hours left in the day. There's 12 hours left of today, so it was just gone midday. I should have enough hours to record all these videos and get that built and running. Now, what comes after that is a little bit of a grey blur in the middle, because I'm hoping that when I plug all my hard drives back in, it will just say, okay, you've got a new motherboard, let's just update the drivers, because I have got two options. I can use the Kingston HyperX that I've got in there as the boot drive, and alright, it'll boot a bit slower, but I only boot the PC once a day anyway, so it doesn't really bother me. Or I could use this as the boot drive, and like everybody go, wow, that's really fast at booting your system. It's like, that's awesome, but like I only do it once a day and nobody's going to see that. So what I am going to do is use this as a primary games cache, effectively. So this, I'm going to use this and my other Western Digital SSD, my blue that I've got, the 2.5 inch one, as SSD games drives. So Transport Fever is going to port across to this. And then obviously I can then compare the speeds of what it used to load like on a mechanical drive, what it loads like on a Western Digital 2.5 inch SSD, and what it loads like on an M.2. Now, like, I know some of you are going to say, hang on a minute, like, aren't you going to have the same problems with that motherboard? No, this motherboard's got M.2 on board, and it also supports NVMe. I've checked that. So this should just literally slot straight into that motherboard. I'm going to end up with a spare card. I can't really send it back because like it's not their fault. And they have replaced it once because the first one that turned up was dodgy. It was damaged, sorry. So they replaced it, and I got a second one. So I can't really send it back. I've had it over a month now. And it's not really worth selling because I only like paid 20 quid for it anyway. So it's probably only worth a tenner second hand. So I don't know, I'll just keep it as a spare. I've got loads of little cards like this kicking around. You'll be surprised. USB, Firewire, all sorts of little cards like this kicking around the place. So yeah, so that's the intention of putting Transport Fever over on here. Now, assuming that my Kingston drive boots up okay, and it just like says, "Oh, I'm going to need all new motherboard drivers and all that," and it goes like that, and the system's stable and it runs with the new CPU and the new RAM and everything, and there's no issues there, I should be able to get back to making videos, right? Which hopefully will be Monday or Tuesday. Start recording. They're not going to be live Monday or Tuesday. Bear with me, right? Because we are getting to a date I'm aiming for. So hopefully, if all this goes well and this goes in, and you know, I can transport Fever over and I can load my save games, because that's the important thing, without too much hassle of... I can get to my save games. Don't panic, everybody. All right, I can still get to those. But what I don't want to have to do is like install a new OS and then reinstall Steam and then copy all my save files across and then reinstall all the games, because that will take me a week or two, and I don't want to do that. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, in theory it should work. I've done it before, so it should work. We should be able to literally put the SSD in. It should see it. I should then be able to say, right, okay, bam, here's your new drivers for the motherboard, and away we go. Now, it's not the most, like, I always like to do a fresh install, and like when building this, I kind of like am tempted to do a fresh build with it and put a clean install of OS Windows 10 on, and then reinstall all the games, because it gets rid of all the crap that I've put on there over the last couple of years, and just generally makes the system run better. You know, every now and then you should do it. But I figured, like, I wouldn't have been doing that anyway if my motherboard hadn't died. So I'm not going to do it now. I've made the decision. Hopefully it's the right one. Hopefully it'll work. And hopefully I can get back to recording videos. So where are we going to go? So if that works, which it should do, and I'll tweet out Monday and Tuesday whether it's worked or not, and the system's stable, I should be able to get back to testing it and then recording videos, as I say, Monday and Tuesday. Now, I say Monday and Tuesday because Wednesday I'm out. Wednesday is another one of my pretty much I'm going to be out like a chunk of the day. I'm trying to get a government-backed scheme, or I'm trying to get on a government-backed scheme whereby I can get business advice and bits and pieces so that I can do this full-time as my job. Now, it doesn't pay full-time wages. I cannot stress that enough. The size of my channel is not big enough to sustain me or a business. It just isn't. It has to grow. So over the next 12 months, if I can get into this scheme, we're going to be working on growing the channel together and bringing in enough money so I can take a wage from it, so that you can get more content and more live streams, and I can forget about looking for work. I can put that to one side and say, right, this is going to be what I'm doing. This is where we're going. And I've got a plan for it all in my head. And a lot of it's down on paper, actually, because I'm making an actual business plan to move ahead. So, in lieu of that, I've picked a date of the 1st of March as the channel reboot. So on the 1st of March, I'm aiming to have video content, gaming video content that is, back on the channel. So you'll have all the videos that you normally like will start to resume. Over the next 12 months, obviously new games are coming in and old ones will have to go out, and we'll swap that around. But I've been chatting to viewers, people that support me on Patreon, business advisors. I've been speaking to other channel creators and bigger channels than me as to where I need to go with the channel, and it's quite apparent to me that I need to do what I'm good at. And it's very apparent that the majority of my views come in with Transport Fever and the detailing that I do in it. So I want to transpose that onto other games, really, and other titles. So I haven't made a 100% decision yet, but I'm probably going to bring back the likes of City Skylines, because that is a great game for doing that sort of thing, and possibly Planet Coaster as well. I haven't decided on that because that's quite a tricky one. Now, the problem I've got with these is normally you need to put hundreds of hours into each one to get a little bit of footage. So how I'm going to do that, I don't know yet. I haven't made a final decision, but that's the way we're going to aim to go. I can confirm Railway Empire is going to come to the channel because I've already got a copy, and Surviving Mars, and I need to look at the date, will be coming to the channel in the week commencing the 5th. I think it's the 6th or something that I'm allowed to show it. But it will be coming out when the press embargo lifts. Now, you might see specific content on that by other channels, right? Don't worry about it. They're very pinned down on what they're allowed to show. It's very tight because I've seen it. So basically, when they sort of say, right, you can show the gameplay as much as you like and do what you like in the game, then I'm going to show you it. So I'm already testing it. So I'll be ready for that for the press embargo launch. So I'll do a live stream of that. But basically, on the 1st of March, we're going to get the daily content back of my channel videos. I am also planning, assuming the install goes all okay, to do a live stream on YouTube of Transport Fever. Yes. Oh, yeah, I thought you might like that. Yeah, I can tell you're going, oh, that's brilliant. We get to watch you playing Transport Fever. I'm going to do it at 12 noon UK time on the 1st. That's what I'm aiming for. Make sure you go and follow me on Twitter and Facebook, guys, because if anything is preventing me from doing that, I'll post up on those two and let you guys know. But make sure you go and follow me on those other social medias. All the links for my normal social media will be down in the description of the video below. So make sure you go and follow me on those. But yeah, we're going to do a Transport Fever stream. Now, why have I picked that to be my live stream for the day? Well, it's on a Thursday that I'm coming back, which is the 1st, which is quite adept, which is when you normally get a Transport Fever video. I'm not going to do a Transport Fever video as such. Well, actually, no, I will. I'm going to do one. I'm going to do a Transport Fever video, and then we're going to do a live stream, and we're going to hopefully finish off the map. Now, it won't be complete, but it'll just be like in the back of my mind, I've got the fact that like you guys have had content up to point C, and then like it's stopped for over a month. So we'll have a bit of an overview and a refresh of what we've done in like Series 3, finish it off, and then we're going to move on to Series 4, which will be a new map. Now, I'll probably start that on the Saturday. Now, that will be a video. It will not be a live stream. Because Saturday, I'll be doing a live stream over on Twitch for Transport Fever. Yeah, it's getting good, isn't it? You Transport Fever guys are loving it. So, yes. So, Thursday, you're going to get a long Transport Fever stream where we're going to complete Series 3. Saturday, you're going to get Series 4 starting on YouTube. And you're going to get Transport Fever over on Twitch. Now, I'm contemplating, and please put it down in the comments below, starting another new series over on Twitch. Just literally say, right, we've done with the old one, out with the old, in with the new. Because again, it's been over a month. So it's a good point to say, let's start afresh. And let's hit the ground running. So let me know in the comments below what you think of that. And then we're going to go. So that's it. That's all I've got to tell you guys. Basically, we've had the problems. We've been offline for a period of time. I've got the parts now. I'm going to build it. Hopefully I'll be up and running. Hopefully I can transfer all my files across. And if I can, then I'm going to be live streaming and YouTubing over on YouTube from the 1st. And then back on Twitch on the Saturday, which I think is the 3rd. Is it the 3rd? It is the 3rd. Yes. So that is the plan. So 12 noon on both of those days, by the way, guys. So, as I say, make sure you're subscribed to all my social mediums down below. Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and Patreon. Go and follow me on Patreon as well, guys, because there are posts that I do that are specific to patrons that nobody can see unless you are a patron. But there's also posts that I do that I don't post anywhere else that anybody who's following me on Patreon can see. So go and follow there, because quite often what I do is I'll post something to the patrons, and then a few days later it will be available to everybody. And some of the stuff is like top secret, and only patrons will ever see that. So make sure you go and follow me over on Patreon, guys, because it's very important you follow me on there, because I want to grow that in the coming year. So over the coming year, as I say, we're going to change slightly, because we're going to redo the way I do things in terms of what types of game I do, make it more on the detailing and like more of that. I'm going to do more video editing, because that's something I've always wanted to do, and it kind of is restrictive. Where I'm a one-man band, you wouldn't believe. I mean, the guys on Patreon, I've just done a really long, it's like an essay, I'll tell you. I did a really long post the other day of what goes on, or what's been going on this last month behind the scenes, and they're like, wow, that's insane. That's a full-time job in itself. And yeah, I have been doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes, guys. And that goes on all the time. So video editing is something I want to do, but it's getting the time to do it. And I'm going to have to be like this next 12 months, really nail it. Really going to have to nail the video editing. And I'm not saying it'll be every video. Actually, put down in the comments below whether you like my edited time lapses more than just my straight videos. Or in fact, no, don't do that. Put down whether you like my raw, like I'm just going to record it and this is what you get, and you can see all the good bits and the bad bits, or whether you want me to shrink those bad bits down so that you have more of an entertaining video, but it may be a bit shorter, which frees up your time. Let me know in the comments. That's it from me today, guys. So as I say, there's going to be videos of unboxing the graphics card, unboxing the motherboard, and no, I haven't got a graphics card. There's nothing there I'm not telling you. I will be using my 980 Ti in this build. I can confirm that now. So yeah, I'm going to do an unboxing of the motherboard, a review of all of these parts, including the SSD, and then we'll be live. So I shall see you hopefully all on the 1st of March on the Thursday over on YouTube. That's the lot from me today, guys. So until the next time, it is goodbye from me for now. Bye-bye.